All right, let's talk about a plant that's really more of a sophisticated hunter, the Venus flytrap. For centuries, we've been fascinated by this thing, and for good reason. It's not just a weird-looking plant. It's an incredible piece of natural engineering that makes some seriously complex decisions, all without a single brain cell. So, let's dive inside.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a plant, make a decision? I mean, this thing can sense its environment, it can count, it can remember, and it even weighs the pros and cons before it decides to eat. How does it calculate its next move with absolutely no brain or nervous system?
So where do we even begin to unpack this? Well, the first clue is that the iconic snap of the trap isn't just some simple reflex. No, it's way smarter than that. The whole process kicks off with something pretty remarkable for a plant. It starts with a memory.
First, let's look at the hardware. The trap itself is actually a highly modified leaf. And if you look closely at the inner surface, you'll see these tiny little hairs, usually 3 to 5 on each side. These aren't just for show. They're the tripwires. They're the plant's high-tech motion detectors.
Now, when an unlucky insect brushes against one of those hairs, it doesn't mechanically pull a lever. It does something way cooler. It generates what's called an action potential. Basically, it's a tiny burst of electricity, a lot like the nerve impulses firing in your own body right now. This plant uses electrical signals to send information. It is, quite literally, wired.
But here is where it gets really intelligent. The plant doesn't just react to any old electrical signal. That would be a huge waste of energy. Instead, it has this amazing verification system, kind of like two-factor authentication for confirming a meal.
Here's how this brilliant logic works. An insect wanders in, brushes one trigger hair, zap, an action potential fires off. But does the trap close? Nope, it just waits. The plant actually remembers that first signal and starts an internal stopwatch. If a second hair gets touched before that timer runs out, a second action potential fires, and that is the final command, snap shut.
And that memory, that countdown timer, it lasts for about 30 seconds. If that second touch comes, say, at 31 seconds, it's too late. The plant has already forgotten the first signal and the whole process has to start all over again. It's a true short-term memory, dedicated to one thing and one thing only, confirming it's caught something alive.
And you can see why this is so genius, right? A single raindrop might hit one hair, sure, but is it going to hit a second one within 30 seconds? Not likely. Same with a bit of dust or a falling twig. This two-touch system is an incredibly efficient way to save energy, making sure the trap only slams shut when there's a very high chance of a living meal inside.
So, the electrical decision is made. The green light is given. But how does that signal translate into one of the fastest movements in the entire plant kingdom? Well, now we shift gears from electrical engineering to some seriously high-speed physics. We're talking fast. The trap slams shut in about 1/3 of a second. It's an absolutely explosive, powerful motion that relies on a fascinating bit of geometry and hydraulics. So here's the secret. When the trap is open, its lobes are curved outwards, like a loaded spring, storing up a ton of elastic energy. That second electrical signal is the trigger. It opens up tiny channels in the cell membranes, and whoosh, water is instantly pumped from the cells on the inner surface to the cells on the outer surface. This rapid shift in water pressure causes the lobes to violently flip their curvature from convex to concave, releasing all that stored energy in an instant. Snap. It's such an elegant system. You have an electrical signal that kicks off a powerful, purely physical event. It's a perfect example of how biology combines different principles of physics to create something truly remarkable. But, catching the prey is only half the battle. The plant now has an even more critical decision to make. Digesting something takes a huge amount of energy. So how does it know that the struggling thing inside is a juicy insect and not just a piece of debris that happened to get the timing right? And this is where the Venus flytrap goes from being clever to just, unbelievable. It doesn't just detect motion, it counts it. It actually performs a cost-benefit analysis by counting how many times the trapped prey struggles against those trigger hairs. This little table lays out the whole decision-making process. So, one signal we know means wait and see. 2 signals means snap the trap. But it doesn't stop there. If the trapped insect keeps struggling, sending a 3rd and 4th signal, the plant starts producing special hormones to prep for digestion. And if it counts 5 or more signals, that's the jackpot.
That's the final confirmation it needs to say, okay, this meal is substantial, it's worth it, only then does it commit to producing all those digestive enzymes.
This whole system is all about resource management. Making those powerful digestive juices is biologically very expensive. So the Flytrap has evolved to make sure it only pays that price when the reward, a big, nutrient-rich meal, is practically guaranteed. It is a calculated investment, plain and simple.
And yeah, this research from 2016 really nails it. The number of electrical signals is a direct measurement of the meal's quality. More struggles equal more signals, which tells the plant it's caught a bigger, more nutritious animal that justifies the high cost of digestion.
So where did this incredibly complex carnivorous system even come from? Well, the answer is just as elegant as the trap itself. It didn't have to evolve from scratch. The Venus flytrap simply repurposed a system that most plants already have.
Take a look at this. It's evolutionary genius. In a typical plant, if an insect starts chewing on a leaf, it triggers a hormone called jasmonate. That hormone is a danger signal. It tells the plant to start producing toxins to defend itself. The Venus flytrap uses the exact same hormonal pathway, but instead of producing toxins to repel an attacker, it produces enzymes to consume it. It literally turned its shield into a sword.
It's just a stunning example of evolution at work. By just tweaking the final output of a security system that was already there, the flytrap transformed itself from something that gets eaten into something that eats.
So all this amazing ingenuity isn't just a biological curiosity. Engineers and technologists today are looking really closely at the Venus flytrap for solutions to our own complex problems.
And the potential here is huge. That rapid hydraulic snap is inspiring new kinds of soft robots. Its super-efficient switching mechanism is a model for new devices. And get this, even its logic is being copied. In cybersecurity, there are things called honeypot systems that mimic the flytrap's two-touch trigger. They let an intruder make one move, but if they make a second one, snap, the system traps them and seals them off from the real network. It's a digital Venus flytrap for hackers.
And that leaves us with a final, really fascinating thought. The Venus flytrap shows us a form of intelligence, a system with memory, calculation, and decision-making that is completely alien to our own. It forces us to rethink what it even means to be a simple organism. If a plant can do all of this without a brain, what other hidden complexities and computational wonders are waiting to be discovered, right here, all around us,